What is going on, guys? Welcome to the 2017 Payback review. An interesting pay-per-view to say the least. Lots to talk about, lots to digest. Good, bad, as always. We're going to be going through absolutely everything that transpired on WWE Payback in full, giving you my thoughts and opinions on that. We'll be back with a Raw review tomorrow, of course. But Payback is a decent show. That's about all I'm going to give it. I know a lot of people love this show. Other people really didn't like it. For me, it was a decent show, probably a little bit better than decent. My concentration on some of the matches were not really there. That was probably because of the build-up and probably just because of me at the moment. But so I will go back and watch some of the matches that I didn't pay 100% attention to. But if we start then on the kickoff show, we've got Enzo Amore defeating Enzo and Big Cass, defeating Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. It was a fluky win, but still, they should never have won this match. Yeah, I mean, again, Gallows and Anderson looking stupid, and Amore and Big Cass, who for some reason still over with the crowd, getting the victory. For me, they're lame. For me, they're boring, and I don't really care about them particularly at all, if I'm being totally honest with you. But maybe they're next in line for it. I don't really know where they go from here. The Raw Tag Team division, after the Superstar shake-up, looked a lot better, but really the way they use and book some of their teams is just really, really bad. I think in recent years, people talk about how they've done so goddamn bad with the women's division, but I think they're doing all right with the women's division now. But I think over the years, the tag team division has been the one thing that used to be so goddamn good, and is now really, really shit. And they don't seem to know how the hell to book a tag team division in any way strong. We then got Finn Balor on Miz TV. In the end, basically beat up the Miz. Decent little segment, maybe hinting at Finn Balor Miz feud, which is something fresh, something unique, something I personally wouldn't mind watching. And also hinting at maybe Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar as well for the Universal title. Enjoyed that. I think we'll see a little bit more on Raw tonight. We then got Chris, and this was now onto the main show. So the pre-show was the pre-show. Nothing amazing, but nothing terrible at the same time. And then we got to the main show. And we got Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho in our first match. What a way to start the show. United States Championship match. It was a very, very decent match. Pace ever so slightly quicker than their match at WrestleMania. Nothing drastically quicker, but a little bit quicker. But I thought it was a very, very strong way to start the show. And Chris Jericho picking up the victory. And I bet my life that Chris Jericho wouldn't win this match. So it looks like I may have to proceed to kill myself the next few weeks. So, if you don't get a review for a couple months, you know why. But no, Chris Jericho, on a serious note, winning this match, winning the United States Championship. It will probably be a 1-day, 2-day reign. I expect him to lose the title on SmackDown Live on Tuesday night. Of course, he is now not on Raw. I assume that Kevin Owens stays on SmackDown Live. I mean, how I first read it was the fact that the loser went to Raw and the winner went up. But I don't know. I think Kevin Owens is on SmackDown. I think Kevin Owens wins back the title on SmackDown live in a couple of days, because obviously Jericho is going on tour. That is a fact, and he's not staying around for much longer. What do I think of it? Don't mind it. I think it's kind of a way to say, well done, thank you, Chris Jericho, on an incredible run, arguably the best run of your career. Congratulations on it. Here's the US title. One more US title win for you before you go. So on that note, I suppose I don't mind it, although I think the Kevin Owens reign unfortunately ended prematurely, to say the least. But who knows, in 2 days we could be starting another Kevin Owens reign. The only thing that this does mean, of course, number one contender for the US title is, of course, AJ Styles. It looked like we were going to be getting Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles for the US title post Payback, because, as I say, AJ Styles is the number one contender, and they've been going at it on SmackDown. So it looks as if that match might be on hold, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. And it means we will be getting, Chris Jericho versus possibly AJ Styles. Or maybe we get Chris Jericho, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. I don't know. yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more. I mean, AJ Styles is the number one contender, so it's either going to be him facing Chris Jericho or him facing Kevin Owens or both. You know, Kevin Owens can't do anything. You know, he can't go after Randy Orton because Randy Orton's facing Jinder Mahal. So things are a little bit sort of congested in that department. So it kind of has to be Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, and a kind of three-way thing for the US title for the next couple of weeks before we see Chris Jericho move to onto his Fuji Tour tube. But a great way to start. We then got a real quick, fast-paced match: Austin Aries versus Neville. And I think what led down this pay-per-view, me personally, is the fact that there was not a lot of a build for a lot of these matches. They just kind of have dwindled since WrestleMania, and for that reason, even though the matches were, you know, very, very good, for me it kind of left a little bit sort of, yeah, I was just a little bit like, ugh. If they'd have been booked so well, then, oh my goodness gracious me, wouldn't this have been fantastic? So, look, Austin Aries defeated Neville, but it was by disqualification, meaning that Neville keeps the title. The ending was poo-poo, but it keeps the title on Neville, means that Austin Aries doesn't lose against, you know, that Neville still can't beat Austin Aries cleanly. So yeah, maybe we see this feud go on, maybe they get one more match. Look, at the end of the day, if they do, I really won't mind, because it is, and they are top quality, you know, superstars and wrestlers, and they're putting, or cruiserweights, and they're putting on fantastic matches. It was another fantastic match, crappy ending, but Austin Aries getting the victory, but Neville staying champion in a decent, fast-paced cruiserweight match, and one that I did enjoy. Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, did defeat Sheamus and Cesaro. And I think what the newsworthy thing from this match was not the result, but the what transpired after the matchup. This was a match I didn't really pay all that much attention to, if I'm being totally honest, and that was partly because I was kind of falling asleep. Not because the pay-per-view is boring, but because I was so goddamn tired, and my sleeping pattern is kind of normal, which is bad, because when it's fucked up, it's great for pay-per-views, because, you know, I'm just sitting there like normal. But when it's kind of okay, and, you know, I'm sleeping really early, it means that staying up for a pay-per-view is a fucking disaster. So, yeah, but no, I did stay awake, I never fell asleep. Yeah, my attention was just kind of like, I was on Twitter, sort of, you know, scrolling through it, etc. So, yeah, I'm going to go back and watch this match. But it was a decent match from what, you know, I did see. You know, a bit better than a standard Raw tag team bout. Not, you know, massively quick, but I did enjoy it. And seeing the Hardy Boys back in the WWE ring is a pleasant sight. Them getting the victory. And Sheamus and Cesaro then turning heel. Cesaro being the one that first initiated that heel turn was something that I think was well worth, you know, $9.99. No, I'm joking, but it was a really good moment. I think Cesaro is a better heel. I think he's a natural heel. I know a lot of people disagree with me there, but I do. I think Sheamus is a better heel. So I think them going back to becoming heels and a heel tag team, it could be a really good thing for them. And hopefully this program with the Hardy Boys will continue. I understand probably get Hardys versus Golden Truth on Raw tonight, but I think this feud will continue, and I think ultimately Sheamus and Cesaro will kind of dethrone the Hardy Boys in the end. Sheamus and Cesaro, the broken ones. Who'd have thought that? Moving on. Alexa Bliss did beat Bayley and became the new Raw Women's Champion. Bayley defeated in her hometown of San Jose, California, and Alexa Bliss becoming the first superstar in history to win both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. This, for me, was probably... was it match of the night? I'll probably give the main event match of the night. Well, I don't know. For me, it's probably up there with match of the night. They were all very solid matches, apart from probably the House of Horror match. Everything else was very good. But I enjoyed this. Alexa Bliss is just so friggin' awesome. I mean, she just gets better and better. The sky's the limits for her. It really is. And the company have proven that they're really, you know, they're bought into her. They like her. She's come in. She's dethroned Bayley straight away, and she's leading the Raw's women's division only a couple of weeks after joining it, and deservedly so. In ring, she's fantastic. Bayley's reign ends. I think Bayley's better at chasing the title than she is when she's got the title. She's always going to be one of those that's better at chasing the title than anything else. And you do get superstars that are like that. They're a rare commodity. They're not necessarily a good commodity because it's difficult. Then obviously to know what to do when they actually do win the title. But Bayley's reign ends. It's been an entertaining one. The much-rumoured Sasha Banks turning on Bayley thing, for now, has waited. Who is Alexa Bliss going to be facing next? Probably a rematch with Bayley before moving on to, I would say, Sasha Banks. But very, very happy. I like Alexa Bliss and I'm over the moon. Very much deserved. And she is now a 3-time Women's World Champion, if you include her Raw and SmackDown reigns. Very, very good match. Good ending as well. Smashing Bayley's face onto the thing. It was a very, very brutal ending. And I thought these two, who haven't wrestled all that much at all, had very, very decent natural chemistry. We then got Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. And Seth Rollins did, in fact, win. It was a roll-up. Again, it was fluky. But it means now Seth Rollins is really on fire at the moment. He is well and truly on fire. I don't know if WWE still do power rankings, but if they do, surely he's got to be up there. He beat Triple H at WrestleMania, and now he's beaten Samoa Joe. Admittedly, he beat Samoa Joe in kind of, cheap, well, not cheap fashion, but kind of fluky fashion. But this is a guy that has, an injury to his knee, and that Samoa Joe fantastically worked throughout the whole entire match. Same with Triple H, and both times the Architect has found a way to get a victory. And it doesn't matter how you win, it's just about winning sometimes. And Seth Rollins proved that. What will the repercussions be for Samoa Joe in regards to his Triple H and Stephanie McMahon going to be happy with what he did? You would probably say yes, up until the point in which he lost. What does this mean for Seth Rollins? Does it mean he moves on to another person? Or does it mean, because of the way he won, Samoa Joe wants retribution? Wants, pardon the pun, payback. I think that is probably going to be the case. I think this feud is just getting into gear. Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins, part 2, match 2, is going to be much, much better than match 1. This wasn't a bad match. It was a decent match. But I think the next one is going to be something special. And I think it was clear these two were leaving stuff in the locker for when these two next meet. Seth Rollins with a big victory over Samoa Joe. It's 2 big pay-per-view wins in a row for him. Samoa Joe still looks dominant, still looks like a force, but he did get defeated tonight or last night at Payback, and how he responds to this is going to be absolutely huge for his career in WWE. We then got Bray Wyatt winning against Randy Orton in a House of Horrors match. Now, I was very critical of this on Twitter last night, and I haven't in any way particularly changed my opinion. For me, it didn't work. For me, it was pretty poor. I can see the appeal to some people. I can see the appeal to younger kids. I think they'll probably enjoyed that. I think this was just proof that WWE is doing or trying to achieve an impossible objective of catering to everybody and to all the audience. You've still got people from the Attitude, fans from the Attitude Era who want WWE to be that. They want it to be edgy. They want the Attitude Era type thing. TV 14 to come back, etc. You've got the others that maybe Attitude Era that they don't want, but they don't want this kind of really silliness. And it's a fine line between silly and whether it... I don't necessarily think it was as silly, but obviously you've then got the section of younger fans who, really, really would have enjoyed this. You've got the smarks. So there's variety of different wrestling fans. It's impossible for WWE to always cater to everybody's things, and they always try to, and it always fails miserably. So I think we've just got to accept that this was maybe just not for us, and even though we might not have personally enjoyed this, I'm sure there was a section of fans who did very much enjoy this House of Horrors match. From a technical standpoint, this was nothing. From a production standpoint, I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, for me, I think what I've got to kind of understand, as much as I hated this, and it was very, very stupid for me, personally, I think that, obviously there would have been a section of the WWE universe that very much enjoyed this, and I think a lot. What we have the problem of doing in this day and age with social media, etc., is assuming that just because everybody concurs on the internet and on social media, that it means that that's everybody's opinion, when it isn't. I mean, not everybody that watches WWE is on Twitter, is on Facebook, is on YouTube, you know. So just because, yeah, most of Twitter, most of the smarks, and I don't really like that word, but, you know, whatever you want to call, you know, those type of people, didn't like it, doesn't mean it was everyone. And I think that's an important thing to sort of to say. But I didn't personally like it. From a kind of point, because I just kind of felt it was just a little bit stupid and a little bit far-fetched for me. You know, I'm fine. You've got to watch WWE. You can't watch WWE and think everything. You know, you've got to go into that kind of fantasy mode, and if you don't, then there's no point in watching WWE. But you know, the fact that they all of a sudden jumped into a car and this and that, for me, it was just a bit like, ugh. It was kind of like them trying to find a destination. And again, I don't mind WWE trying new things. I commend them for trying new things, because they don't try new things. Everybody knows that you know, it's the same old shit, and they're getting boring. So, you know, you can't win. And I do feel for WWE and feel for Vince McMahon in many situations, because there was a lot of times where he simply cannot win. But yeah, for me, this just didn't work. But I commend them for trying something new. It didn't work on this occasion for me, although I'm sure the consensus probably is that the majority did enjoy this. I think it's often important to note that the minority are often the loudest, but the majority, the silent majority, are often, you know, obviously the majority, the most. I mean, it goes without fucking saying. And that's the case a lot of time in politics as well. And I think Brexit, Trump, that's all kind of proven that. The silent majority have awoken. You know, the loud, feminist, Nazi idiots, you know, liberal, communist, socialist pricks, you know, they might go out on these protests and that and make out that everybody agrees to them, but they really are just a loud, silent minority. Loud, silent minority. Loud minority. And it's as simple as that. But anyway, I don't know why. Again, you know, I'm like, sometimes you go into politics on WWE reviews. That is just how it goes. But yeah, Bray Wyatt getting the win, which is an important thing. Obviously, the circumstances in which it came under. Some will complain that he was kind of third fiddle because Jinder Mahal and the brothers Singh, I don't know what the fuck they're called, Singh brothers, kind of interfered. It's kind of advanced the Randy Orton Jinder Mahal feud, which I'm really not into at the moment, mainly because I don't like Jinder Mahal in the slightest. I think he's terrible. He's not a terrible wrestler, I just don't like his character. But I will give it time. I will not shit on it completely. I didn't mind what we saw transpire on Payback. They've got a lot of work to do, but the fact he's stealing the title is quite a nice. I like that idea. It brings us a kind of a unique element. I know it's been done before, but it kind of feels a little bit fresh because it hasn't been done in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, you know, I thought that was decent. Bray Wyatt was kind of third fiddle, but you know, at the end of the day, the Superstar Shake-Up hasn't helped this match, hasn't helped this feud. And now Bray Wyatt can hopefully go on Raw and start to be booked in the right way, and he does get a big pay-per-view victory over a big star, WWE Champion Randy Orton, which we've got to look at as a positive when it comes to Bray Wyatt. We then got the main event where Braun Strowman cleanly beat Roman Reigns. It was a case of Roman Reigns coming back a little bit too early and Braun Strowman just having too much. Strowman is now by far the biggest monster the WWE have had on their hands in a long time, and he's different to people like the Big Show because he's not just got that you know, presence of a monster and the look of a monster and, you know, the physique and everything about that. He's also very, very good in the ring, and I think that's an understatement. I think he's well and truly very, very good in the ring. A lot better in the ring than Big Show is, and in my opinion, Big Show ever was. Much more athletic. He's powerful. He's quick. Look, he is unbelievable, and I have always kind of loved Strowman. He's exceeded my expectations, I will admit that. But I've always liked Strowman. You know, I was one that did say I think he's come up too soon, but he's improved leaps and friggin' bounds so goddamn quickly. One of the most improved stars we've seen in recent years, and he is now legitimately one of the best things about Raw, one of the best things about WWE, and well and truly deserves to be Universal Champion by the end of the year, hell, even before that. And if anyone can beat Brock Lesnar, I think it is this man, Braun Strowman. What a night for him, getting a clean victory over Roman Reigns. And that is something that doesn't get given to many people at all. I don't know when the last time Roman Reigns was defeated cleanly in a one-on-one match was, but I think it was probably a long, long time ago. I can't honestly remember the last time Roman Reigns was defeated cleanly in a singles match. And if there was one, there certainly hasn't been a lot in the past sort of 3 years. Massive victory. Roman Reigns doesn't look stupid, you know. He was clearly injured still from the thingy. You know, personal stuff going on as well. Which, unbelievably so, Vince McMahon wants to kind of try and bring into this storyline to just try and get Roman Reigns over, which I think is despicable, personally, bringing in, you know, stuff like that. But there you go. If Roman Reigns is okay with it, I suppose that's all that really matters. But there you go. That's Vince McMahon for you. So, yeah, I mean, the crowd chanting, "You deserve it," and some people saying that's harsh. I disagree. Obviously, what's happened to Roman Reigns recently is horrific, and the fact that he even showed up for Payback's unbelievable. But I don't think they were saying, you know, "You deserve it" in respects to you deserve everything that's happened to you recently. I think it's more about his character. You know, we are saying you deserve the beatdown because we don't like Roman Reigns as the wrestler. You know, we obviously, of course, anybody with an ounce of empathy, sympathy, will feel sorry for what is going on for him at the moment and the tough time that he's going through. But at the end of the day, he is a wrestler. And we were watching Roman Reigns the wrestler, Roman Reigns the superstar, and that's the Roman Reigns. You know, we don't like the superstar, we don't like the wrestler Roman Reigns. It's as simple as that. We don't like his character, we don't like anything about him. So there you go. So the beatdown was awesome. Roman Reigns was bloody. Now he's got to go. Give him a couple months frigging off. You know, he's going for a tough time. Give the guy a couple of months off. Have him come back. Have Vince, you know, and ah about whether they're going to turn him heel. I know they won't, but, you know, maybe turn him heel when he comes back, whatever. Have him go off for a couple of months, have Strowman face fucking Lesnar, and just deal with that. So that is Payback in the books. It's the 1st of May. Happy 1st of May. May Day! So, yeah, I really distracted myself there, but yeah, Payback, a very, very decent show. I'm going to give it, well, I mean, a decent show. I always do that, don't I? I'm very, very decent. And it's just a joke. I'm really, really tired, as you can imagine. So I'm going to give it a solid 6.5 out. No, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I'm going to go back and watch some of the matches. Raw's going to be interested tonight. And finally, now that this pay-per-view is done, we can, you know, the kind of stories that have crossover on brands like Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton are all in the books, and we can now focus on the new rosters and really sort of propelling ourselves into the future and heading into the summer. And yeah, who is going to be the big person that owns the summer of 2017 when it comes to WWE? You know, some of the superstars in the past who have owned summers. You know, Punk had his one awesome summer. I mean, AJ Styles, it was probably the summer of AJ Styles last year. Who's it going to be the summer of? Early shout, maybe. It's the summer of Braun Strowman. Strowman defeated Roman Reigns at Payback cleanly. I repeat, cleanly. Roman Reigns, the Roman Empire, burnt down by Braun Strowman. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Payback. It was a bitch, Roman. It really, really was.